It's halfway through 2025, and I feel like for me, I need a mid-year reset. And so if you are listening and you are feeling a little bit like you've been doing this stop start like me, or maybe you had a clear vision for what you wanted to do, who you wanted to be, what you wanted to create, and you've lost your way a little bit as well, let's fucking do this together. Let's do a mid-year reset and get clear on what we want to do, who we want to be, what we want to create, and what are some of the habits, behaviors, ways of being that are actually out of alignment.
Welcome to the She Who Dares podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Wilson, the founder of She Who Dares. I'm a specialized breakthrough and mindset coach, business mentor, online course creator, and your number one no BS hype woman. I'm here to remind you who the fuck you are and reignite your personal power through powerful and expanding conversations on all things business, mindset, and energetics, to help you break through to your next level of success in all areas of your life, business, and bank account. Each episode is designed to expand your mind, shift your identity, raise your frequency, as well as give you success strategies to help you step into your highest, most powerful, abundant, successful, and magnetic you. So, I dare you to join me each episode, and I double dare you to implement what you learn and go all in on you. All in on your life, your business, your success. Because if you do, like so many of my She Who Dares clients and students, you will become everything that you know deep down you can be. Ready? Let's friggin' do this.
Welcome back to the She Who Dares podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Wilson. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys today because we've had a little bit of a break. The last couple of weeks, I've had like a virus and I wasn't able to get an episode recorded and out to you guys last week, but we are back this week and I'm ready to go. Now, it is June. Can you believe it? Can we just take a minute to be like, holy shit, I feel like, honestly, like the last 8 weeks of my life, probably since March, have just been a big blip. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you know I've navigated lots of big things in this year. And so I really feel like I have not really recovered from March. And I feel like I've really lost the last 2 months. So the last 2 months of my life, I feel like have been a blip. I feel like I've lost my way. And I feel like I am just coming out of like a fog and a haze. And so what I want to do in today's episode, I'm really feeling like I need a mid-year reset. And this is for my girlies, my women who listen, who are like, I need that as well. I need a bit of a reset. I don't know about you, but I started the year really strong. I had such clear goals and vision for who I wanted to be, the habits I wanted to install, the behaviors that I wanted to focus on, how I wanted to show up in my business, how I wanted to show up in my personal life, what my morning routine, my evening routine, my eating habits. I had such a clear vision of what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be in 2025. And I hit the ground running, as I feel like a lot of us do. I mean, the new year starts and there's that new year energy, which I just friggin' love. And I can really create a lot of great momentum at the beginning of the year. And this year was honestly like 10 out of 10. I looked at all the areas of my life in December and had a really clear plan and vision of what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, what needed to change, what I needed to let go of, and what I needed to step into. And I was on fire until March. I was really embodying that version of myself and doing the things that I said I would do. I was keeping my promises to myself. Then in March, we found out we were pregnant for the first time in 9 years, trying to conceive, if you're new listening. which was amazing. And one of the biggest symptoms that I experienced really early on was like extreme fatigue. And so that really knocked me out of my kind of routine. I really went from thriving and feeling super powerful, super aligned and focused to just experiencing a level of fatigue and exhaustion that I had never experienced before, where I was kind of all of a sudden in survival mode in early pregnancy. And so that looked like me doing my client sessions that I had and then sleeping in between those client sessions. I wasn't really in a go phase. I was very much in survival. And so I went from like moving my body almost every day, sometimes twice a day, eating really well and having really clear goals and being able to stick to all of those goals with ease and flow to very much it all went out the window really quickly. And then that was really about, halfway through April. And then we actually started to have a lot of early pregnancy complications. If you guys have been listening, I've shared this in a previous episode. If you're new here, we actually ended up losing that pregnancy. I had a missed miscarriage. And so for the first 2 weeks of my pregnancy, I was just like in absolute exhaustion mode. I had nothing in my tank other than to do the bare minimum, which was showing up for my clients. And I didn't have anything else in my tank for anything else. And then once the pregnancy complications started, at the same time, the symptoms that I was experiencing also weren't as strong, as intense. But then what very much took over, well, we were in, again, another level of survival mode, with just managing getting blood tests every 48 hours, going for scans every week, managing all these different complications that were happening, trying to be positive, trying to hold the hope and faith, but also preparing ourselves for what looked like this was not going to be a viable pregnancy, which just was, comes with so many different emotions. And so that was about a 4-week period that we're navigating all of that. That's 6 weeks. And then we lost our pregnancy. And I probably took about 2 weeks off to just, grieve and be and lie in bed, you know what I mean? And watch documentaries and watch Bravo and just check out. And I took time off from my clients and I just gave myself that time to just go inward and be sad. And that was a really powerful gift that I gave myself, because now we're probably about 6 weeks post my miscarriage and I'm okay. It's not something that's consuming my every thought. I have very much moved on. And yeah, I feel strong. And I feel that because I gave myself that 2 weeks to check the fuck out of my life, to stop, doing all my business stuff and stop seeing clients and just lie in bed, eat chocolate, eat lots of cake and watch, mind numbing shows and feel all my emotions and write and journal and express myself. I feel like I was really able to move through the grief of what we were experiencing. So after that kind of 2-week break, then I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back into my life. I feel like I, haven't really been able to dedicate myself to my goals at the same standard and level that I was, between December and March. And now I felt ready. And so I got back into it. I was back in the gym, going to Pilates. We walk almost every afternoon, Bruce and I. So I really love to do 2 workouts 4 to 5 times a week, works really well for me. I was back in the business, creating content, because that was one of my big goals at the beginning of the year, was the big realization as a millennial business owner who's been in the online business space for a decade, was like, holy fuck, I actually need to become a content creator. That's just where the market is moving now. And so that was one of my really big goals. And so I was just ready to get back into it. I'd also, while I was navigating early pregnancy and then the complications and pregnancy loss, I was also not as intentional. I was not as intentional with my eating. I was just a bit more relaxed. It was just more like I'm exhausted. If I want to eat a piece of toast, if I want to eat gluten, I was just a bit more relaxed while I was navigating all of that. Whereas before the complications, I was strict, no gluten, very limited dairy, very much eating whole organic foods. But I kind of just like, once those complications started and I was just so exhausted, like cooking was not a main priority for me. I just didn't have the energy for it. So like my eating habits laxed up a little bit as well. I definitely wasn't working out at all. I mean, Bruce would be like, come on, let's just go for a walk. And I would go for like, honestly, like a 15-minute walk and be exhausted, yawning the whole way, come home and have to sleep. It was quite an interesting time. So after all of that, I was like, I'm ready. Let's get back into it. Let's refocus, realign. And I started to make really good progress. And one of my frustrations that I'm feeling this year, and I feel like it's definitely come up before, is that I feel like I'm making progress and then something happens that then sends me back a few steps. And I get frustrated with that because I'm determined, I'm ambitious, I'm a go, let's fucking do this kind of chick. And when I feel like something is deciding for me that I can't go and move and keep going at the pace that I want to go at, I find that really frustrating. And so that's what this year has felt like to me. I felt like I was fucking making such good progress, doing the things I want to do, being who I wanted to be. We fell pregnant, which was a blessing and amazing. That was exciting. But just with that, it came with complications. Then we experienced pregnancy loss, navigating all of that. And then I was like, let's fucking go. I'm ready to go. I grieved and I was ready to go again. And then I bloody got sick. So I feel like 2 weeks ago, as I'm back in my momentum, I found the swing of things, the groove of things again. I got sick with a virus. And it's just been one of those annoying viruses that has taken me ages. Like I'm recording this and I'm not 100%, but I just have to get the fuck up because made sure I went to Pilates today. I'm at that stage where I have to just push myself now. I'm so much better than what I was, but I'm just like, it's lingering. It's one of those really annoying viruses. It's not the most sick I've ever been. I mean, I was hospitalized with influenza A and the flu in 2022. That was terrifying. I thought I was on my deathbed. So this is like mild compared to that, but it's been enough to have me in bed a couple of days. It's been enough to take me out of the game for the last 2 weeks. I haven't exercised. I've been so tired, sleeping every afternoon, just again, back in that survival mode. And I don't want to be in fucking survival mode. Like, this is not my year where I envisioned that it would be stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. And I'm having to like surrender to all of the different things that have been going on. So when I got sick 2 weeks ago, it really pissed me off because I was just finding my groove again. And now it's been another stop where I've been, sick with the virus. So I'm very much feeling like, okay, I'm getting better. I'm well enough now where I'm back recording episodes, back with clients, and I'm back at Pilates this morning. Like, I want to start moving my body again every day. I want to start focusing on eating the way that's most aligned for me, feeling my best and most aligned with my goals. And I want to just start to implement some of the things that fell away for me once we found out we were pregnant. So I'm using this. It's the mid-year. It's like the 2nd of June today. You'll probably get this in a couple of days, but it's halfway through 2025. And I feel like for me, I need a mid-year reset. And so if you are listening and you are feeling a little bit like you've been doing the stop start like me, or maybe you had a clear vision for what you wanted to do, who you wanted to be, what you wanted to create, and you've lost your way a little bit as well, let's fucking do this together. Let's do a mid-year reset and get clear on what we want to do, who we want to be, what we want to create, and what are some of the habits, behaviors, ways of being that are actually out of alignment. The things that we're currently doing are not on the path of where we want to go, our greatest, highest, most successful self. So for me, when I lose my way, and we do, So if you've lost your way, say you were like me and you were doing really well and now life has gotten in the way, the first thing I want you to do is really practice compassion for yourself. I don't know your personal circumstances or what you've been navigating this year. Like, I'm very open and honest about what I've been navigating. And so when I share with you guys the different things that I've been navigating and why this year has felt like I've been making really great progress, and then it feels like something happens and I no longer am making that same progress, it's that stop start energy. When I share that with you, I bet you when you're listening, you're like, of course, Krystal, like you've been going through all of these different things. It makes sense. Like, I'm sure you're not beating me up for my stop start, my losing my way, because you have the context of everything that's been going on while I've also been trying to do and create all my goals. And so I kind of want you to apply that same empathy and compassion and understanding to yourself. And this is something that I often speak to my clients about. Beating yourself up does not get you results. And you know how I know this is because I used to beat myself up all the time and be so critical of myself. And it's something I still have to like manage and be aware of. And most of the women who are in my world as clients and students, you're listening to this podcast, you're probably really good at fucking beating yourself up. And you've been doing that and applying that strategy. And I reckon if you look at the evidence of how you have applied that strategy to yourself when you fall down and you don't get the results you want, that it doesn't actually work. It only perpetuates the same kind of destructive self-sabotage cycle that you're stuck in. So beating yourself up when you fall down, when you lose your way, when you are off course, doesn't actually course correct you and get you back on course. In fact, I would argue, based on my own experience and coaching hundreds of women, that the longer that you beat yourself up, the longer off course you will go. And so something that I want to invite you, if you are off course right now and you're also feeling like you need a mid-year reset, you have to meet yourself with understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. There is definitely a part of me the last couple of days, I have noticed that I'm being really hard on myself. I'm not feeling good. I've just spent 2 weeks with this horrible virus. I've just had pregnancy and pregnancy loss. There's been some really big fucking things going on, and I've been doing my best. But my inner mean girl has absolutely, in the last couple of days, started to whisper to me that I'm not doing enough, that I should be doing more, that see, I'm stop starting. I can hear her. I can hear her trying to kind of bring me down into like the depths of despair, bring me down into the pit. But I'm working really hard not to allow that voice to be the voice that I listen to, because my intuition, my higher self is also guiding me. Krystal, look at the context, look at what you've been navigating. You're doing your best and you can keep going and we can get back up and we can course correct. And so I want you to meet yourself with love and compassion and understanding, and just know that it doesn't serve you in any way to beat yourself up because you've lost your way a little bit. We're doing a mid-year reset. Let's fucking go. So for me, when I'm in this space where I'm not doing all the things that I want to be doing, even if there's a very valid reason for it or not, and I start to feel a bit down on myself, the energy around me, like today, this week, is feeling heavy. Probably the last week, it's feeling heavy. I'm hearing my inner mean girl a little bit more louder. I'm noticing that I'm listening to her a little bit more than what I usually do. I'm noticing when I look in the mirror, I'm being a bit more critical of myself. And so rather than beat myself up for that, what I'm doing is, instead of being critical, I'm being curious. And I start to look at, what am I doing that is out of alignment? What am I doing now that is gone past the point of I'm in survival and I'm probably just tolerating some bad habits and behaviors for myself? So I start to get curious about what needs to change versus what I want to do, what my inner mean girl wants me to do, which is beat me up and beat me down. I'm fighting against that evil and good right now. And for those of you who understand this, I know this is going to land for you because you might have that same internal battle going on. So when I'm feeling like this and I'm ready to get the fuck up and realign and get back on track, I start with the 101 basics because I often say and teach if you cannot master the 101 basics, you're not going to get to the big things. So I always go back to basics. And for me, what I'm bringing my awareness to, what I'm focusing on right now is the very basics. So my evening routine, I'm going to start with evening because I believe that your evening routine dictates your morning routine. So evening routine, morning routine, movement, food, nutrition, water, okay, and then what I'm consuming. Now, all of these things have been really lax. I had very clear intentional goals for all of these areas of my life because I know that in order for me to up level and to really step into the next level version of myself, which is what the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the year, I know it starts with these basics, these foundational things. The only way for me to become that next level, the only way for me to get the thing that I don't already have is to look at who am I being. And when we look at who we are being, we have to look at the foundations of how we are living and being and operating, our habits, our behaviors, our patterns, what we're consuming, what we're eating, viewing, all of it, the conversations we're upholding, the standards we're upholding for ourselves. So this is where I'm starting, and this is where I want you to look at if you are also very much like me, craving that mid-year reset. So for me, some of the habits and goals and intentions that I set for myself in December was I really wanted to change my relationship with my phone. You know, having an online business and being somebody who operates their business on social media, that line between I'm building my business, I'm working on my business, and I'm just actually indulging in like low vibrational behaviors on social media, like scrolling, that line can get really blurry. And so, one of my intentions at the beginning of the year was to absolutely change my relationship with my phone. And I was doing so fucking well, guys, so well. I was putting my phone away at around 9 p.m. every night, which for some of you might already be doing that. For me, as somebody who's been building an online business on social media for the last decade, those lines are blurred for me. So having boundaries around my relationship with my phone and responding and reacting to my phone, my client messages, emails, things like that, it was just something that I wanted to be more intentional with in 2025. And I was killing it. I was doing so well. Then once I found out I was pregnant, I was kind of like late on my phone, scrolling, like learning about pregnancy, like thinking about all the different things I had to do. So I kind of stopped doing that and I haven't really picked it back up. And so one of my intentions starting today, it's Monday, the 2nd of June, and me and Bruce spoke about this on the weekend, was like we really wanted to get back into that positive evening routine because what you do in the evening before you go to bed, those couple of hours before bed, even if it's an hour before you go to sleep, has a huge impact on your morning routine. And your morning routine has a huge impact on the day that you create for yourself. And so for me, we want to do at least 1 hour, that 9:30, phones away, like no longer checking social media, going back to using my sunrise alarm clock because I fell out of that habit as well the last 2 months. And reading, I've always been a reader, but this year again, I set the intention to really read, get back into reading books about business journeys, social media, get back into reading biographies and personal development books, things that are going to help to expand my mind, to feed me and feed my soul in a way that, only books can do. And so I was reading so much. I think I read 3 or 4 books in just January to March. Again, that fell away. And so my evening routine for me is phones away at that kind of 9:30 and reading for that last hour. I like to go to sleep at about 10:30. That works really well for me. And when I'm out of alignment with my habits and behaviors, you betcha I'm staying up later. I'm scrolling later. I'm not reading. I'm watching shows that I love, but when I watch them too much, they have a negative impact on me. And so this is why my evening routine for me is super important. They're the things that I'm going to be doing in the evening and getting back into my mid-year reset. Then my morning routine, I don't want to wake up and go straight to my phone. Okay. And this is the habit that I am, really committed to breaking. So what I want to do when I'm first waking up, and this is something that I have done since about 2018, when you're in that state where you are waking up in the morning, okay, it's that early morning state where you're not fully awake, but you're no longer asleep. Now, this is an incredibly powerful time to reprogram your subconscious mind. And I love to use this time in the morning to really align and anchor into my power. And I have power declarations that I like to repeat to myself. Now, I started doing this in 2018, and it had a huge powerful impact on my life. It's something that I kind of forgot about or stopped doing, maybe over the last couple of years. And I've restarted doing it this year. And so I start my morning in that theta state where I'm not asleep, but I'm not quite awake. I'm in that beautiful theta state. And this is where I use this time to actually visualize, to affirm my power statements, to declare before I've even put my feet on the ground to start the day, but today is going to be a great day, that I'm a successful business owner today, that I'm healthy today, that I'm determined today, that I'm a content creator today, that I'm showing up today, that I'm creating a huge impact in the lives of others today. Like whatever your power statements are, this is the time while you're in that theta state to repeat them to yourself, to declare what you are deciding today is going to be for you. Who are you going to be today? So this is a big part of my morning routine. Then I love to have my coffee and I love to do my visioning. Okay, my scripting, my visioning, where I then write in the future tense about what I'm creating this year, who I'm being, all the fucking amazing things that have happened as though they have already happened. And this is a huge part of my morning routine. So I am anchoring in the morning, really with such intention and such dedication about who I am, what I'm creating, where I'm going. And this just sets me up for the most incredible day. Then I want to move my body, whether that's going to Pilates, whether that's going for a walk. I've definitely felt, I think, over the last 2 months, a call to maybe get back into some more intentional weightlifting. As much as I love Pilates and I love walking, I'm feeling this urge. So I've done a little bit of research and I'm looking at some different places that I could go and do some more weight style training. Even if that's like 1 or 2 sessions a week of that, I just feel like that's what my body needs next for me to go to that next level. And so that's kind of like the main things in terms of my evening and morning routine. Now, throughout the day, we eat organic. We eat about 80 to 90% organic food. When I'm eating in alignment to my goals and values, I am eating a gluten-free diet because I have intolerances and I can get away with eating gluten. And I'll be honest with you, I fucking love gluten. Anything that's got gluten in it is better. But when I'm on a fertility protocol, like I am now, getting back into that, and I'm also eating in alignment with what makes me feel good, what gives me vitality, it's definitely not eating a lot of gluten. So we eat around that 80 to 90% organic. And I would say that I try to eat between, 90 to 100% gluten free. Now, as I said, I can get away with it. So sometimes I will have gluten if I don't have a great alternative, but I really try not to do that as much as possible. And all of that is lax for me. I mean, even the last 2 weeks when I've had this virus, I mean, all I could eat was like sliced toast with butter. So again, those things have laxed up for me. And as this mid-year reset, I'm like, let's realign, let's refocus, let's fucking go, right? Because at the beginning of the year, I had a very clear vision and very clear goals. And even though some really big things have happened in my life, and the same for you, you may have also had really big things happen. this is the time to reset. Another thing that I've noticed, my water intake. Okay. I bought my Frank Green Colt bottle at the beginning of the year with an intention to drink more water. I have to be intentional with these things. These things have to be at the forefront of my mind. Otherwise, it's very easy for me to slip up and not do these things. And so, water is another thing. I've not been getting enough water every day and consistently to give me that vitality, to make me feel my best. So, what would have we looked at? Evening, morning, food, like nutrition, movement. So, getting back into the Pilates, the walking, potentially adding in some weight training. And then that also leads to like, what am I consuming? So, as I said, when I was going through like the miscarriage and the recovery, I very much was doing none of this and just wanted to disassociate. I wanted to disassociate. I wanted to watch all my favorite Bravo shows, and I love reality TV. I'm a big fan of reality TV. I've been watching it for like 20 years. All the Housewives, almost every show on Bravo. And I love documentaries. I love biographies. I just love real stuff. And so when all these kind of habits and goals kind of fell to the wayside, after from while we were navigating what we were navigating, I definitely have picked up watching way more TV, watching way more reality shows than what actually feels good for me. And so, even though I love reality TV, and I always say I'm a Bravo brat, I freaking love Bravo. If I'm watching and consuming too much of that, it has a negative impact on me. It's out of alignment with who I am, where I'm going, what I'm building and creating. So again, it's like sugar, right? I love sugar, but if I eat too much of it, it makes me feel sick. And so Bravo, I love Bravo. And in moderation, it has no negative impact on me. But if I binge too many Bravo shows or I start watching it midweek, or I watch too much, I've been sick, so I've been watching more of it. I noticed that the frequency of those shows, which is a low vibrational frequency, can start to impact my energetic frequency. And I don't like to have a low vibrational energetic frequency. So I am intentional with what I consume, what I watch. Even though I love watching those shows, I have to be very cautious of not going over the threshold where it actually impacts my energy. And I've noticed that because I navigated a miscarriage, then fell sick, and had a couple of weeks where I was back in the groove, but then fell sick, I've been consuming too much of the things that actually don't serve me and are not in alignment with where I'm going. If I want to stay right where I am, or I want to revert back to older versions of Krystal, then sure, keep indulging in all these behaviors and these are lower standards for myself. But that's not my goals for myself. That's not who I want to be. And my goals and the vision and what I'm building with She Who Dares and how I show up for my clients, it requires me to have really high fucking standards for myself, just like I help my clients have high standards for themselves. And it's okay that we have moments or blips or we fall down or something really fucking hard happens in life and we lose our way a little bit, but it's how quickly can you course correct? And so for me, I am using, it's June, it's mid-year, to really reflect on the last 6 months and celebrate how many great things I've done, how far I've come, how many of my goals I have accomplished. But also, I need to reflect and take responsibility that some of the big and hard things that have happened in the last 2 months have veered me off course a little bit further than I would like to go. And guess what? In taking responsibility and witnessing that and having that self awareness, I am able to course correct quickly. And when I course correct quickly, I'm not in my victimhood. I'm not sitting there beating myself up and beating myself down. I'm taking responsibility. I'm doing a mid-year reset and I'm realigning. I'm course correcting. So I want to invite those of you who are listening. I've just shared with you some of the things that are really the foundational things for me and what I teach my clients: evening routine, morning routine, movement, nutrition, water, what you're consuming, what you're watching, what conversations you're tolerating, people you're hanging out with that are low vibrational and not aligned with where you want to go. Like whatever it is. Are you drinking too much? Are you eating too much? Are you not really focused on giving yourself what you actually need so that you can be the best version of yourself? And if you're not, it's an opportunity right now to just reflect on that, bring awareness to that, take responsibility for that, and course correct. Get clear. You've got 6 months. The rest of this year, you've got 6 months. And can I tell you, far out, it goes fast. When I think about just the last 2 months of my life that I feel like I lost to pregnancy loss, being sick, having a miscarriage, having a D&C, being in hospital, all those things. Time moves so fast when you are not being intentional. Time moves so fast. And you can slow it down when you're intentional, when you are like, what do I want? Who do I want to be? What do I want to create? Who would I need to become in order to create those things? And when you get clear on what you want, and then every day you wake up and you do the things to align yourself to that vision, to that version of yourself, I really believe that's you being intentional with your time, and you're able to actually manipulate time in a positive and impactful way. But when we're unconscious, when we're not intentional, when we're off course and we're refusing to see how off course we are, time moves really fucking fast. And if you don't course correct now and you don't realign, it'll be the end of this year. And then it's like, I want you to reflect on how many years have you already been doing this? Where it's like you've actually lost the last 4 years, the last 2 years, the last 3 years, the last 6 months being off course in your life. So use this podcast episode to write down, it's the beginning of the next 6 months of 2025. What needs to change? What do you want to create? Who will you need to become in order to create those things? And don't go big out into the stratosphere with goals. Come back down to your basics, your 101, your evening routine, your morning routine, what you're eating, what you're consuming, your movement. You need to be able to master those basic foundational aspects of your life. And it's from there that the big stuff that you want is so much easier. And that's exactly what I'm doing for myself. It's June, baby, 2025. This is your mid-year reset. If this has inspired you, if you're like, oh my God, I've got a plan, this is what I'm going to do, jump into my DM, send me an email. I would love to celebrate you course correcting and getting intentional with your time. Love you guys. Have the best day.
Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. If you loved this episode, be sure to share that with me by leaving me a review, and head over to the She Who Dares official Instagram account at She Who Dares Official, hit follow, slide into my DMs, and share with me the impact this episode has had on you. And before you go, I'm going to leave you with this. The universe is responding to you. It is following your lead. You are the one who has to move first. And when you do, the whole universe will move with you, because it's I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. That is our official She Who Dares mantra. I want you to write it down, put it on a mirror, and I want you to remind yourself of it every day. When I lead, the universe follows. When I move, the universe moves with me. When you follow this She Who Dares mantra, you are going to unlock the magic of the universe, and you are stepping into your most powerful self. I can't wait to see you for the next episode. Thanks for being here.